Yeah, let's go.
Time to do it.
Another edition, Talking Sports with the 12th man. Yes.
Thursday.
Yep. We want to hear from y'all. Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina. We want to hear from y'all.
We love it. We're excited.
Asheville, North Carolina. Orlando, Florida. Key West, Florida. We want to hear from y'all too. And Fresno, California, Andre's favorite city. We want to hear from y'all too.
There it is. Whenever JQ's on, I'm taking all the strays. It's all good. Hey, welcome to another edition of Talking Sports with 12 Man. We're coming to you guys on Thursday, September the 18th. Close to the 21st day of September. Love, Earth, Wind, and Fire. But let's have some fun. Thursday Night Football is wrapping up. Got a minute 56 right now. We were just, me and Gary were talking about how Tua just threw that pick. Sucks for the Dolphins. We'll talk about it later. But, yeah, without further ado, let's check in with the fellows. You know how we always like to do. Yeah. Gary, I'm going to start with you first because we're going to let Rob finish his dinner here. So,
Gary, dinner time in Vegas.
I'm totally unprepared for this. You know, I'm the last man, but I'm honored. Hey, doing good. You know, doing good. Having watching Rob eat his dinner is cool. I know what it's like. You know, being on the West Coast doing this type of a thing. We're kind of reversing roles now, Rob and I. But, hey, I'm ready to go.
Let's have some fun. We love it. Rob Ford, are you good, man? How you feeling this evening?
Doing great. Hey, world. You know, wherever you're watching, it's a little after 8 o'clock on the West Coast, so it's dinner time for me. So I got some jerk chicken going, got some asparagus going, trying to get the healthy kick going. Haven't been eating as healthy as I should be in the last week and a half, but trying to get back on the right track. But we're ready to talk some sports, enough about some good healthy eating. And we got a lot to talk about. Hey, let's make it do what it do, baby.
Yeah, I hope your lovely bride Gina had a good birthday too. So shout out to her, everything like that too. So obviously, it's a lot of love for her and everything she does to support the show and support you and all that fun stuff too, man. So we appreciate you, Gina. Thank you for all that. Hope you had a great day, a great birthday as well.
Yep. Spoiled her as best I could, of course.
We know you did. We got a lot of things to talk about right out the gate, and obviously we're excited. We don't get a chance to see. JQ is recovering from a trip. Obviously, we'll talk about what's going on with that. His Bengals did pull out a win, even though we talked about what happened with, we were texting what happened with Joe Burrow. A little scary because I think it may be out a little longer than we think, but we'll keep this moving here. So the first topic out the gate that, and again, I feel like, as much as we hate the Eagles, especially Gary, so should the Tush Push be allowed in the NFL? Yes, Gary, you're raising your hand. You want to kind of start this off, if you will?
No, I was just acknowledging my hatred.
Oh, man. And
yeah, you know what? I didn't know that this was going to be the topic for tonight. But earlier today, I was, just kind of going around from the different sports channels, and they were talking about it, and they were showing the penalties that should have been called on a lot of these tush pushes.
Mm-hmm.
The center's actually moving forward before he's hiking the ball up, and that should be a penalty there. And they showed it in several games, up 5 or 6 different games. They showed this in where it was clearly a penalty. And the referees are right there, and they're not calling it. And they're wondering, if they're not going to call that type of a penalty on something like that, then, maybe it shouldn't be in the league. It's not really a football play as we've known it in the past anyway. So anyway, that was kind of interesting to see that this is our first topic going out. And this is what I was kind of scrolling through today and how they showed, the false starts, kind of a crazy deal there, but I'm not in favor of it. I don't like it.
I mean, it's interesting you said it. So I know Robert will jump on this too, but because that's one of the topics whenever we're looking at kind of the components, obviously for it was, it's difficult to officiate. we talked about, is it safe, lack of skill, all these things that certain you're getting feedback. But it was obviously it's not banned because the NFL owners voted to keep it in. It reminds me of a couple of things. Will the league adapt? We adapted to the Wildcat. That was kind of new at the time. Are we being sore losers in that instance where, come on, you got to stop the play? I mean, Eagles, they're like, it is what it is. You got to stop it. And then you got to talk about the anomalies, right? I'm sure I'm going to use a different sport, like whenever Shaq was playing, right? The officials weren't sure how to call fouls. And he was so big, because he was over there and you're like, well, was that a foul? I mean, you had to make some adjustments, and Shaq obviously adjusted, but and the league adjusted obviously, but you got a couple different elements to this too. So I mean, I'm kind of in the situation. I mean, I hate the Eagles, in certain instances, especially because of Scott Richmond, Rob, because every time he fills my text, he's always talking junk. So it's one of those things where it's tough because you got to stop the play. I don't know how you're going to stop it, but just don't let them get short yardage, because everyone knows it's coming.
They showed one guy in the league today that stopped it consistently.
Interesting.
Palomalo.
Oh.
Where he would dive over, time it, and dive over and knock that back himself. Yes. And he did it on a regular basis on that play. But I don't know of any other player that has had that timing just perfect like he did so many times. But I'm sure as soon as I said that, you envision that, you remember some of those plays.
He was probably was great. Jake would hate that. And another thing I'm going to say too is if Jalen Hurts is taking all those hits, I think if you start having people jump over the line and hit the quarterback, that's going to affect it as well too, I would believe too. So that's a great point too. So Rob, I'm going to let you jump in. What do you think about the conversation?
Yeah, I've always said that I didn't think it belonged in football. I think it's a rugby style play. I think it has no place in the game, in my personal opinion. And I don't hate the Eagles, maybe like you all do. I mean, it's not my favorite team or anything, but I just don't think, just from a competitive standpoint, I don't think it belongs, in the game. And look, the Saints ran it on week 1. Kellen Moore came from the Eagles, and they converted on it. Well, I still don't think it belongs, in the game. To me, it's just a rugby style play, and it's not a football style play, in my opinion. So, I know we got to deal with it this year. They're not going to change the rules in the middle of the season. But, I would like for the competition committee to review that play again this offseason and hopefully get it out of the game.
Well, another thing they have to get out of the, if they're going to do that, then they have to get, because there's other plays where you've got a running back that's gained 4, 5, 6 yards on a play, and his team gets in behind him and does the same thing, except it's not a tush push, but pushes him another 5 or 6 yards.
Yeah.
And I think that's got to stop as well. Wouldn't you agree? If you're going to stop the tush push, shouldn't you equally stop that type of a play as well?
Yeah, you can certainly make a case for that as well. Yep. But I don't necessarily have a problem with that as much as I do the tush push, because tush push, like I said, just everybody huddled up in there, piled up. It's like a rugby style play. More so than, helping a guy get into an end zone or moving them forward or anything like that. But the tush push, the way the play just starts, right? It's it's just not a football formation. It's a rugby style play.
Yeah, and what the center for the Eagles is doing before he's handing the ball off, he's already pushing forward and diving underneath that pile.
Yeah.
Before Hurts actually gets his hand on the ball, he's already moving forward. That's what I was seeing today on these different highlights, and these referees right there not calling it. And it's like, I don't know why they're not seeing that. They were able to pick that out on these videos,
until it gets stopped.
Well, something they're going to be watching going forward. I heard the NFL leader of officiating pointed it out too, for referees to really paying close attention to it. And maybe they can't see it just because of, like I said, the way everybody's just piled up on each other, right? They don't have visibility to it. But I
Well,
would
they
think the
had.
headlinesman or someone should be able to see that though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah.
in some of the videos that I saw, I'm looking and I'm watching the play, and I'm looking up, and the the official is right there.
Yeah.
And if I can see it on the TV, I know damn well he could see it on the field.
Yeah, and it's so crazy, right? Because right now there's no, it's tough because there's not really any evidence of injuries caused by that too. So it's not
Right.
really skill. That's the tough thing, right? And I know if you were a Packers fan back in the day, I think Vince Lombardi ran what's called the counter tray. He did a whole series. He literally talked about that play for like I think 20 hours or something like that. How they're gonna, make this play was unstoppable. Figure out how to stop it, and so you stopped it. You're like you knew it was coming. Back in the day, you played Madden. You knew this play was coming. You got to stop it. You're like, you know it's coming. So it's
Right.
up to us to kind of stop it and figure that out too. So, but yeah, right now,
The under smoke blitz in Madden. Remember we had to figure that one out?
oh, 100%.
What was that? I didn't hear that. What was that, Rob?
Back in the day when Andre and I used to play Madden, it was the under smoke blitz. You had to figure out how to get rid of the football quickly to beat that blitz.
Smoke. Yeah,
Oh.
it was like everyone was like blitzing, like the linebackers and safeties, cornerbacks. It was tough, man. Under smoke. So you had to figure out how to flip and how to stop that play. Let's have some love here. Let's talk about some right out the gate, some NFL predictions, and we've got some really good games here to discuss here. I know, Rob, you can jump in here too, but I know you put me and Gary on this. But right out the gate, you got 2-0 teams. You got the Rams and you got the Eagles, and obviously this is a great game out the gate because obviously the Rams have been playing well. Devontae Adams showed out last game. They had a slow start, the Rams, and they were able to overcome the last game. And then obviously the Eagles, they're still in a controversy as far as what's happening with them. And they've played some tough games out the gate. But this is a really, really interesting game. I think it's like a 2.5. I got to see somebody's favorite by 2.5. I was looking this up beforehand, but this is an interesting game right out the gate. Now the Eagles were obviously challenged by the Rams, right? The Rams are the one team that actually, gave them some really grief and heartache, and it's early enough in the season. But what say you in this, Rob? Do you think this is a game where the Rams can take the Eagles, or is this going to be the Eagles kind of overcoming this and in this particular matchup?
I think it's going to be a heck of a football game. Obviously, these two teams played in the divisional round of the playoffs on last season. The Rams played the Eagles as tough as anybody last year in the playoffs, right? I like the Eagles at home in this football game. I like the makeup of the team, the mentality of the team, although I like the makeup of the mentality of the Rams as well. But I just think the home field advantage is going to count for at least 6 or 7 points in this football game. And I'm going to go with the Eagles winning it. And look, the Titans moved the ball pretty good on that Rams defense. Surprisingly, Cam Ward made some exceptional throws in that game. And but I'm going to go with the Eagles here. I'm going to go 24-17 Eagles.
Well, if I were a betting man, and there are times when I am picking Eagles in this because it's at home.
Yeah, 3.5.
But I would take the Rams and 2.5.
Yeah, was it 3.5?
I'm thinking it's going to be 24-23 Philadelphia.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough game. Saquon ran over the Rams last year. They added a couple people, but I don't think it's going to change. But again, I do think that Jalen Hurts is going to get some fits too. It's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. Like I said, comes close.
I am rooting for the Rams.
We know that 100%. Like I said,
I'll be wearing all my dad's Rams stuff.
Eagles get the home field advantage in that pick. So that's I'm gonna be only because I'm trying to go against you guys. I'm gonna go for the Rams just for the opposite pick here. But I'm just thinking it could be either way, honestly. For this one. Next game we got the Cowboys at the Bears. Now, Gary, this is an interesting situation. Ben Johnson was not happy with the Bears after their performance against the Lions, getting their ass whipped. that is going to be an interesting thing. Now, obviously, Caleb Williams is a young quarterback. At this juncture, you're hoping that he can make a couple mistakes, but it's gonna be a tough game. I like the Cowboys in this, but I just think, like you said, Ben Johnson will have the Bears ready because they got their ass kicked last week. Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be 2 weeks in a row that they get their asses kicked.
Really? Oh, that really? Do you think it's going to be that much of an ass kicking? Wow. Okay.
I think it's going to be. My prediction is 31-17 Dallas.
Wow. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. Wow. I don't know about asking you, man. I was going to say like 24-17, but man. Okay.
I really like how Dak's playing.
Okay.
Adding that extra stud at wide receiver.
Yeah.
It changes the whole complexion of not only their passing game. They can't keep all those guys in the box. It helps their running game. I can see this score happening.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I think we better mark this episode, Andre, because this is the first time I've ever heard Gary compliment Dak Prescott, right?
I agree.
Today is September 18th, 2025. We definitely got to mark this episode that Gary has finally given Dak Prescott a compliment. Wow, let's give him a hand clap for that, too, right? Yeah,
Yes.
Unbelievable. But I'm going to pull out a Lee Corso here. Not so fast, my friend. I actually think the Bears is going to win this game at home. I think Ben Johnson is going to have them ready to play. I think it's going to be a close game, a competitive game, just like the first two Cowboys games have been. I'm going to go 23-20, Chicago at home in Soldier Field.
Oh, yeah. That's if it were in January or late December or something, I could see that. Yeah. But it's not. So,
like I said, I mean, they're not happy, obviously, in Bears country. So they got that ass. So that's why I was kind of nervous. It is nervous to see. I don't know if it's going to be like that much of an ass kicking, Gary. But
all we have to do is get it to the 50-yard line and we can kick a field goal.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
That's why I gave you 20 points.
Oh, man. We love it. All right, let's talk about the last game. We got the Cardinals at the 49ers. And this is interesting, right? So if you're looking strictly at quarterback, right, Brock Purdy is supposedly, we're still kind of questionable. Mac Jones is a quarterback. Now, again, in JQ's words, you'd rather take Kyler Murray supposedly over Mac Jones. But Mac Jones, and you saw this, he played well versus your Saints, Rob. But this is the interesting thing. The Cardinals, like 3 of their quarterbacks are injured, right? The only one that's playing is actually the rookie Will Johnson is playing. But then the 49ers, like most of their receivers are out. So this is a weird game in this instance too. So will Kyle rely on the running game? Christian McCaffrey's kind of dinged up, as he always is. Mac Jones do just enough. I mean, and then you look at what happened. I mean, the Cardinals let the Panthers get back in the game. So that's kind of an interesting situation. They had to get like a last sack on Bryce Young by Calais Campbell, the ageless wonder, to actually shut that game down. So I don't know if I really trust the Cardinals, even though they are 2-0. Both teams are 2-0 coming into this game. The Cardinals swept the 49ers last year, obviously, because, CMC was hurt. But, I would say this is a close game, like 21-19 49ers, just because, I don't really trust the Cardinals right now. I just don't.
Yeah, I'm going 49ers in this one, too. The Saints made Mac Jones look like a Hall of Famer. But Kyle Shanahan, I think, is a really good play caller, as you all know, right? And obviously, Mac, you got to remember, Mac Jones was a first-round pick. So, we say this time and time again that organizations give up on quarterbacks way too fast, mainly because of their fan bases, right? The fan bases lose patience, so the organizations lose patience, right? So you got to remember, Mac Jones was a first-round quarterback. I know Kevin O'Donnell, he said this time and time again. The organizations, fail quarterbacks time and time again because we don't have patience with them. And, Kyle Shanahan, you've seen him do this. He's go out and sign these quarterbacks that teams cut. And he rebuilds Sam Darnold. And now he's rebuilding Mac Jones. And he's getting these guys, probably back into being starting quarterbacks in the league at some point, right? So I'm going to go with the Niners at home in this one. I agree with you, Andre. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go 24-21,
Yes.
49ers in this game. And you said it best, the 49ers do have Jawan Jennings and Ricky Purcell. They're both playing well at the wide receiver position, even though they don't have Kittle. And we know what McCaffrey can do out of the backfield as well. So I'm going to go with the 49ers with a slight victory here.
Well, 49ers are another team I hate.
Of course you did. Yep.
And I have to pick them.
Oh, Gary. I thought you were the Cardinals.
No, I'm not going to pick the Cardinals. They're, last year was a fluke. This year, even with all the injuries, Shanahan calling the plays, I'm thinking it's going to be a 24-20 49er victory.
Yeah, Rob nailed it. Unfortunately, as much as we hate to hate on Shanahan here in Atlanta, he's a great play caller. So I think
he's a good play caller, yeah.
We'll figure out some type of running apparatus or something, even though, like you said, Rob, Kittles is out for a few weeks. I think Usage has got he was in the concussion protocol. Jawan Jennings was, he played well, but I don't know if he's still kind of nicked up. So he had another receiver that was nicked up. I was looking up on the 49ers website. So they're like, oh man, another wide receiver's down, but he's just going to run the ball. That's what
running those. They rotating their backs really well. Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson Jr.
Yeah.
So they're doing a good job rotating those backs, keeping McCaffrey fresh, and making sure he's out there on third down plays. So Shanahan's doing a good job there.
There it is. Yeah, this is good. So the next one, I give you credit, Rob, for putting this topic in here. Bijan Robinson is best player of the NFL, and this is kind of scary for me because number one, as a Falcon, you like flying under the radar, right? Anytime somebody starts bringing us up, and it's that kind of let's it's a little scary to get some type of recognition, but it's tough because it's good to get some props, especially from Saquon. And I think he's on that trajectory. I think I don't know if he's quite there yet. Obviously, you can make a case for like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, even in those instances, even Saquon. But I love his trajectory, and he's so versatile. I think Raheem was talking about that. Catch out the backfield, he blocks. He's just almost like a human joystick, the way he kind of cut. He's got incredible balance.
He's got good hands out of the backfield. That's
great hands out of the backfield. You saw that play that he ran like a 60-yard touchdown versus the Bucks. And I wish he had a little bit more breakaway speed. I don't know if this is from right now. I know he had that nice touchdown run off of screen pass, but sometimes you wonder if he has that extra gear. He's not like Chris Johnson fast, but he's fast. But I'm not complaining at all. So this is a great pick, and I'm excited to see how. If you're a fan of teams, and I'm gonna give a shout out to one of the his AVY3N, he talks about breakdowns, and the Vikings, they were trying to not let Penix beat them deep, right? So we were complaining about there's no play action, this and this and that, and the way that blind Flores, there's a couple teams that run this, like the Bucs run this, the Vikings run this, where they rush and then on the way to the quarterback they're going to stop the run, so they're not getting fooled by play action. You can play action all day. They're like, we don't care. Some teams are going to stop and react and kind of come back, but not the way the Vikings are. And then he's going to play like cover 3, cover 2. He's going to make sure that you beat me. He's not going to get beat deep. So you have to be perfect to make those throws, but that's the way that defense is kind of run. And it was great to see the Falcons run the ball versus the Vikings, even though obviously JJ didn't have his best game in the offensive line injuries, but it was just good to see Bijan kind of get his due and make some great runs. So I was excited about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Bijan is an incredible weapon to have for sure. I mean, you get him out in space, your defense better be ready. So, he's a game changer. He's a threat, especially if you get him out in space. And to Andre's point, for the one he took to the house against the Bucs, they got him out there in space. He got good blocking out in front of him, and was able to take it to the house. So he's definitely a guy that you have to watch in that realm. So. Definitely has very almost like a younger version of McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. Talk about the NFL MVP race after 2 weeks, guys. What do you guys say, Rob? What do you say out the gate for this one after 2 weeks?
Oh, well, for me, it's I think you saw Josh Allen tonight, right? You throw him in there, very efficient, 22 out of 28, 3 touchdowns. To me, it's two people, and it's Josh Allen and Jordan Love. They're the leaders in the MVP race, in my opinion, at this point in the season. Obviously, Josh Allen just played his 3rd game. Jordan Love has only played 2 games, and we haven't seen him since last Thursday. But those are the 2 guys. They haven't turned over the ball, playing very well. The teams are playing very well. So those will be the 2 guys. And I'll even throw one more in there, Justin Herbert. He's actually been playing very well.
Talk about that.
So
those were the 3 that I had.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw Justin Herbert's name in that mix too. He's been outstanding so far. Probably the best I've seen Justin Herbert play in his career. So no, and so is Jordan Love. I think they're playing the best ball in their career. I mean, obviously Josh Allen has already been in that conversation, but I'm gonna go with those 3 guys for now.
Well, I am too, and I'm picking Josh Allen at the number 1 spot though, and Jordan Love at the 2, and then Justin Herbert at the 3. But for Justin Herbert, it's like, different coaching regime in there, and it's like he's playing with confidence.
Yeah,
He wasn't playing with confidence.
When your head coach was a quarterback in the National Football League.
Right. But I mean, just playing with confidence, and he hasn't been in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You can just see it. You can sense it. I mean, so I'm happy for him. I hope he plays well, and I hope he doesn't revert back some of these former seasons he had. I don't think so. I don't think he will with Harbaugh as the coach, but
Harbaugh surprised me because Harbaugh loves to run the ball, right? So we didn't know if he was going to be able to open up the offense as much as he has. So give him some credit because you were thinking, oh man, I don't know if the Chiefs are going to be able to or we didn't think that the Chargers were going to be the Chiefs, right? And then we were surprised at just how Herbert was throwing all over the Chiefs, right? And they bring a good balance. Lad McConkey was playing well. Quentin Johnson was actually making catches, and we were like, what is this team? So I think you nailed it, Gary. Confidence does really reflect from the top down. And same thing with, I know I'm this off the cuff here, Daniel Jones, even that's crazy to say that, but him playing with the Colts, he's got some confidence too. They haven't freaking punted yet. You're like, what the hell? That's crazy.
And I'm not a fan. That goes back to what we were just talking about a little while ago. Sometimes teams give up on these quarterbacks too soon, right? It takes a special guy to come in the league and play at a high level in 2 years, right? And what happens is, like right now, Caleb Williams in his 2nd season, and already the fans want to get rid of him, right? And so that's what happens. The organizations, they give up on these quarterbacks too soon because their fan bases want to get rid of them. So if they want fans to keep coming to the games, buying into it, they give up on the quarterback. And now you see a guy like Daniel Jones, who's a top 10 pick, number 6 overall in the league, in the second go-round with a different coach. They learn, they get better, and that's what we're seeing out of Daniel Jones right now. So another classic. Now, just 2 games, now, right? We want to see if Daniel Jones can do this consistently throughout the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just 2 games. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but early indications are, this might be the right situation for him, the right coach for him, and the same thing with Justin Herbert. You can just see Justin Herbert's mechanics is even just better, right? Even on his rollout passes, how he's planting his feet, getting rid of the football, and you can see that's a lot of Jim Harbaugh right there from a coaching standpoint, just getting him ready to play on a week-in, week-out basis.
Good stuff. Robin, we're going to talk about the top, QB prospects. And I do want to, we're going to talk about this a little later, but mentioning kind of the theme with the topic for tonight, the backup quarterbacks for the Dolphins are Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers. So you talk about a very interesting situation because I think the quarterback is a huge problem with the Dolphins. Obviously, they're still trying to figure out what's up with Tua. It's up and down. But that's going to be your whole thing. Once he didn't play, they lost 6 games. They end up drafting Ewers, which is part of the conversation, but we'll see. the quarterback is definitely the challenge with the Dolphins.
Is Tua just not that good?
It's I don't know.
It
We don't
seems
know.
like he's falling off for sure.
He is
Seems like he's just not that good. I mean, even like that, it seemed like, he was playing good tonight.
Yeah.
He had barely over 100 yards, but he was playing smart. And then it gets down to crunch time, and he throws that.
You've got Tyreek Hill and Jayden Waddle as your wide receivers. Oh my God. You have some
You
weapons.
got Devon Achane at running back.
You got running backs.
Speed guys.
You've got some tight end. You've got a really explosive offense. If you could just get the ball out to Tyreek Hill, oh my God.
An offensive-minded head coach.
It boggles me, So
so that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what's going to cost this coach's job.
Well, we're talking about that later because the Dolphins so far have talked about they want to be patient with Mike McDaniels, even though he's trying to figure out if he's a miniature Bill Parcells, or Bill Belichick. But we'll talk about that later. So anyway, Rob, speaking of that, let's talk about some top QB prospects, and I'm sure we'll see what happens for a couple teams that may be in the market for this in the next season.
Yeah. I still have Garrett Nussmeier number one, even though I didn't think he played his best game against Florida this past week. But when you look at his arm talent, he's got enough mobility. And what you like about Garrett is his ability to read defenses. Obviously, he's a coach's son. His coach is offensive coordinator. I mean, his dad is a offensive coordinator in the National Football League too.
Yep.
So you can see the mental aspect of his game. He knows where to go on the right plays. He knows how to set up protection schemes and things of that nature at the line of scrimmage. So you can see he's got all of that, and that's what the NFL scouts are going to love. Lenore Sellers is probably the most talented quarterback in the draft, right? I have him number two. When you look at the fact that he could throw it almost 80 yards, and he can run it, he can run over you, right? And he's a good kid. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's just a good, really smart, cerebral. He's got it between the ears, right? So Lenore Sellers is a guy from a talent perspective, be interesting. He got a concussion this past week, and South Carolina lost that game. So that was a big blow. So we'll see. Drew Allar, quarterback, Penn State, really want to see how he performs coming up in some big games. He's got Oregon coming up. He's going to have Ohio State in the schedule here pretty soon, too. So it's going to be a big test for him. And scouts are going to be watching those games really closely with Drew Allar. I'm not sure he's got the personnel on the perimeter, but he's definitely got a big-time NFL arm. He's got it between the ears, too. So I have him number three. Fernando Mendoza, he's one to watch, quarterback Indiana. I have him number four. And a big test, we're going to get to that game this weekend. They host in Illinois this weekend, right? But Kurt Cignetti is a heck of a quarterbacks coach. He's head coach at Indiana, right? And you can see Mendoza has the fundamentals down pat, right? Same thing I said about Gus. He may not have Nussmeier's arm talent, but he does the same things that Nussmeier does. He sets up the protection schemes at the line of scrimmage, reads defenses extremely well. He's accurate with the football. So he's definitely a guy to watch. Arch Manning, I have him number 5. So, we started the season, he was number 1. So I dropped him down to number 5. And that guy had 10 straight incompletions this past week, right? But I still think he can get there. And, when you watch the game tape, a lot of his mechanics are just off. And he just got to get back to the basics, right? The Arch Manning thing is going to be intriguing to watch, right? I remember Arch coming out of high school. Most publications had him 5 stars. But I remember there were some that said the only reason he's 5 stars is because he's a Manning, right? And so he's still got a lot to prove. I have him at number 5 right now, but he's certainly trending down. He can certainly keep going down if his performance doesn't improve, right? So in the next couple of weeks, he's going to have some big-time tests in the SEC, and that's what we'll be able to see if he's recovered from the Ohio State. But this past weekend wasn't that great either. But 2 guys to watch, Carson Beck, Miami.
Yep.
And John Mateer at Oklahoma. As a matter of fact, if I had to vote for the Heisman today, it'd be between Carson Beck and John Mateer.
Yeah,
So those two guys have a real strong chance to get into this first round conversation. Carson Beck, going into last year's draft, was considered the number one pick in the draft. Obviously, didn't have a great year at Georgia. Georgia didn't have a great offensive line last year either, and he's got a great line in Miami, and he's showing what he can do there. So Carson Beck is a guy to watch, and also John Mateer at Oklahoma. Mateer can flat out throw the football, and run it. So those are two guys to watch, in my opinion.
So Manning has two uncles that were Super Bowl quarterbacks and played in the NFL. Grandpa, maybe he takes after his dad.
Oh, yeah. that is a shot. I haven't heard one, man. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You're not wrong.
Cooper, I saw Cooper play in high school. His dad was a heck of an athlete, believe it or not. And he went to Ole Miss as a wide receiver. And then his career got derailed with some major back injuries. Yeah, but his dad was a heck of an athlete, believe it or not.
Okay, well,
yeah.
He's got to get over to that family reunion and say, "Hey, can you help me with my footwork? Can you help me read these defenses?" Because
his dad, matter of fact, his dad was a better athlete than Peyton and Eli. Eli and Peyton were just good quarterbacks, and Arch is a better athlete than Eli and Peyton, but he may not be the quarterback that Eli and Peyton was. But he's a better athlete. Because Eli and Peyton were statue quarterbacks.
Right.
They were great statue quarterbacks. So particularly Peyton was a great quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, well, sometimes just being an athlete doesn't get you over the hump, as we're seeing right now, too. If you talk about mechanics, everything like we talked about that, Rob, 10 incompletions, that was pretty rough. And then if you look at the blogs, they're like, is Arch Manning injured? Like, what the hell is going on? I mean, there's a lot of flack that's happening right now. And then you talk about the drop, just, they're giving him a pass because he's Arch Manning, as we talked about too. But yeah, man.
Well, it's hard for these kids in this day and age because they're on this stuff all the time.
Unfortunately, yeah. That's
it's not with their uncles and their dad and their grandfather. They didn't have to worry about any of that outside stuff. They only had to worry about what their teams were talking about.
True.
So it's a whole different thing for them. So they can that stuff I'm sure can get into their heads.
Absolutely. Yep. Distractions, man. That's crazy. Let's talk about some key injuries, Rob. And if you want to add another quarterback, but right now we've got JJ McCarthy and Jayden Daniels, if you will.
Justin Fields too. Go over there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, Justin Fields is out with a concussion.
Tyrod Taylor's playing. Is he playing for the Jets?
Tyrod Taylor's playing, so you might as well say the Tampa Bay Bucks going to be 3-0 this weekend against the Jets. No Justin Fields. So they'll be in Tampa is one of their first two games on the road, so they're finally going to get to go at home. And they got Andre Peterson playing quarterback at the Jets. So I mean, the Bucks are going to win this game and go 3-0 for sure. And then Jayden Daniels, of course, is questionable. They said all week long that Friday will be the earliest that he practiced. So tomorrow's going to be interesting to see if he actually practices.
It's a knee injury? So he's got a knee injury?
Yep. So it's going to be interesting. It looks like he's not going to play. I think the Commanders beat the Raiders even with Marcus Mariota.
Oh, my God. I don't know about that, Rob. I don't know, man.
Well, when you look at I know Marcus Mariota didn't do great with the Falcons, but actually when he played last year in that Washington offense under Cliff Kingsbury, he actually put up some pretty efficient numbers. And so I'm going to go with Washington in that game, whether Jayden Daniels plays not. Now, JJ, and that's a big blow for the Vikings, even though he's only played one good quarter of football. I mean, they're not going to beat Minnesota. I mean, they're not going to beat the Bengals. Without JJ, they probably weren't going to beat him with him, and so that's he's going to be out at least 2 to 4 weeks. They're going to go with Carson Wentz, and it's 2 years in a row that JJ is hurt. Right, you spent the number 10 overall pick for him, so it's really hurting his development process.
Yeah, that's a tough blow for all those quarterbacks too, and it's this is where we're talking about. tush push and all that stuff. If that's another thing. If somebody comes flying like Troy Polamalu, Gary, and tries to hit, that's gonna be a problem too, man. So that's maybe another reason why to get it out the league at some point. But these are some serious injuries too, man. So it's gonna impact a couple teams, if you will. We talked about the quick update. Obviously the Bills, they have beaten the Dolphins. And we'll talk about what's going on with McDaniel in a quick second. But let's talk about the Chiefs and will they recover from an 0-2 start? And they have the Giants coming up next. That should be a win. I'm assuming that may be a little tougher, but that should be technically a win. But if you're looking at the Chiefs they're proving that they're vulnerable right now. Obviously Travis Kelce looks like he's 84 years old. Defense looks like they're still trying to figure themselves out. They should get right for this game. But the Chiefs have some pretty good games, some pretty tough games moving forward here. So obviously, after they got the Ravens, they got the Jaguars. That should be a little easier. But it's going to be interesting to see what's happening with the Chiefs, if you will.
Yeah, you said it, Andre. Yeah, they could very well beat the Giants this weekend, but you got the Ravens after that. And 2 weeks after that, you got the Lions. You still got the Commanders with possibly healthy Jayden Daniels. You're going to roll with the Buffalo. You're going to roll with the Denver.
Yeah.
You got the Colts who seem to be better. Man, you can make a case that this Kansas City team might be borderline 500. I know you can't go 8-8 no more. It's either 9-8 or 8-9. But you can make a case that this Chiefs team, I mean, I know at some point you're going to give Rashee Rice back and they're going to give Xavier Worthy back, but they're not going to give Rashee Rice back till week 7. And what kind of contribution he's going to bring after missing so many games? Remember, he missed most all of last season, missing the first 6 weeks of this season. How rusty is he even going to be? Travis Kelce is not the same player anymore. It just looked like they don't have what they need, or Patrick Mahomes doesn't have what he need on a perimeter. You can make a case that this Chiefs team could be 8-9, 9-8, or 10-7.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, Rob. The Raiders always play them tough, and obviously getting Pete Carroll in there. Looks like like we talked about the division game. You've got the Bills, you've got the upcoming Colts, you got the Broncos. You play the Cowboys. There's the Titans. They may beat the Titans later on. Lions are this is a tough schedule. Jaguars that may be a win. But other than that, this is a really gauntlet of games right now for the Chiefs.
Hey, you got to play the Chargers again. And look, the Chargers beat them on a neutral field. I mean, I know that game's going to be in December. So, we don't know what the weather's going to be like when the Chargers go to the Chiefs. So, the Chiefs should have that advantage at home. They host the Broncos at home. So, down the stretch, they at least got their 2 divisional opponents at home, the Chargers and the Broncos. They close at the Raiders. Which on the surface you think will be a win.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans,
for this year,
even though they're not a slouch.
Yeah.
Looking at their schedule for this year, I think 10-7 would be a win for them. I really do.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of tough games, and they just don't have enough talent around them. They've got to retool quick, or they're going to just blow the last 4 years of Mahomes' time to really shine.
They got a great coach.
They can't run the ball. We can't forget about that either. They can't run the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's tough. It's going to be tough. So don't cry for them. They've got, a couple Super Bowls. They'll be fine. But just at this juncture, we'll see who's ready to take over that division.
I see them a 10-7 team.
Yeah.
Maybe getting one of those last spots as a wild card.
Yeah.
And one and done.
It's tough. I agree with you. It's going to be tough, man. They are not the same team at all. They're getting everyone's best game too, right? Because you're the representative for the AFC, so you're getting everyone's best, if you will. So, no one's crying for them. I'm gonna do the top 5 teams right now, and I'm sure everyone's gonna have your own opinions for this. For me, I've got it listed as follows. I've got the Bills, and these are a couple of all 2-0 teams here. I've got the Bills, the Packers. Hate the Eagles. They're third. I've got the Rams and the Chargers rounding out the top 5, And you can make a case for the Ravens as the only 1-1 team kind of on the outside looking in. There's a couple surprising 2-0 teams, but I don't think they're up there like the Cardinals, the Colts, the Bengals, the 49ers, and the Bucs are 2-0. But again, you can kind of talk about that. But I'm kind of looking at kind of like the top echelons of the league, if you will. So that's what I've got for my top 5.
I got the Packers number 1 still, just because, man, their defense is looking unbelievable, right? The addition of Michael Parsons, they got lockdown corners, they got playmakers on every level, and then they're playing well offensively too, right? So I like the way they're playing on both sides of the football. The Bills, I have number 2. They tough win tonight against a divisional opponent. You never know; those games can always be tough. And I got the Eagles number 3. We look at the Eagles, solid win over the Cowboys, road win over the Chiefs. I got the Chargers number 4. That week 1 win against the Chiefs on a neutral site, I think was very impressive. And even to go on the road and beat the Raiders, divisional opponent, I thought that was a pretty impressive win. And then number 5 for me is Tampa Bay. When you look at what Tampa has done the first 2 weeks, they've gone on the road and won both of those games with last-minute drives. I think it shows a lot about the makeup of their team. And, hey, I'm going to talk about this again. Baker Mayfield, how many teams gave up on that dude, number 1 pick overall? And
trash talked him up one side and down the other.
Yeah. And man, don't you think the Cleveland Browns would love to have him right now?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they would.
Don't you think the Carolina Panthers would love to have him right now? They gave up on him too.
Oh,
Man. Yeah. Wow. And shucks, even my Saints, man, we picked Derek Carr over him. And so, I mean, we would love to have him too. And so, I mean, it's another case of teams giving up on an early round pick a little too soon. And then the light finally turned on, and now he's probably one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the game.
Yeah.
Probably top 7.
Yeah.
Very well be.
Good stuff.
So for me, 1, 2, and 3 are really close between the Bills, the Packers, and the Eagles.
Yeah.
They really are. So you can put that in any order you want.
Yeah.
So because I hate the Philadelphia, I'll put them in 3.
That's what I did. Feel like me.
But as far as 4 and 5, I've got the Chargers at 4, and I have the Rams at 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could have definitely went with Tampa as well.
Yeah.
But I went with the Rams. That's kind of a coin flip there.
Yeah.
So we all have the same top 5, slightly different order.
Yeah. The scary thing about Tampa, man, they got Emeka Egbuka, man. That guy's playing like a Pro Bowl already. And they're going to get Chris Godwin back in a few weeks. They're going to get Jalen McMillan back, and they're going to get Tristan Wirfs back. I mean, look out. Yeah. You can almost make the case they're a contender in the NFC, not just to win the NFC South.
Yeah, it's a little my thing that's a little upsetting is the fact that, if we hit that field goal, we go to overtime, who knows what would have happened for that game. That's the only reason why I didn't put him in there. But, again, it's no shade, no I'm not talking junk. Mbuku, like I said, that dude is going to be – unfortunately, I hate to see that from freaking Tampa Bay. But
when Tampa made that pick on draft night, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable.
Yeah. They were smart with that one.
Saw it coming.
Yeah. The next topic, can the Packers go undefeated? Obviously, Rob has talked about the defense, Jordan Love playing well. A lot of confidence as we talk about that can lead you a long way. I'm going to say that it's going to be no, because there's a couple of teams that I think that they can run into some challenges. And here's the teams I have. They're playing the Eagles in week 10, the Lions week 13. They're at Denver, the Broncos week 15, and they're playing the Ravens in week 17. There's a couple of good games. I think one of those teams could possibly trip them up. And I also put an asterisk next to the Steelers if Joe Burrow comes back for the Bengals. And then again, we'll talk about that game number. What is it out the gate? Cowboys, right? So are the Cowboys going to get some get back, or is Micah going to go nuts? That is going to be an interesting game, to say the least. So those are the games that I think could trip up the Packers and why they that's why I think it's going to be a challenge for them to go undefeated.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're gonna go undefeated. That's ridiculous. I know the linebacker, I think Quay Walker thinks they can go undefeated, uh, but I don't think so either. Man, it's the NFL. It's gonna be tough, man. Larry Zonka is not walking through that door.
There it is.
Don Shula is not walking through that door, right? We're not talking about a team going to go undefeated.
14-3 is not a
and they
bad
haven't won a
record.
game on the road yet. The first two games. Now, look, I've been impressed with Green Bay, but their first two games have been at home. So they go on the road to the Browns. I don't think that's going to be an easy win, but I think they'll beat the Browns. But then they go on the road against the Packers. I mean, the Cowboys. I don't think that's going to be easy. But so they got some games here. I can see something like a 13-4 kind of team with this Packers team this year.
That's exactly what I thought, and that'll probably be enough. That 13-4 will probably be the top spot.
Yeah,
in the NFC.
They're definitely represent for the NFC right now. Everyone has the Packers and the Eagles, obviously squaring off again in that championship game from what I was looking at, Rob, Gary. So I was looking at things too. But like you said, we'll see what happens with the Bucks. We'll see what happens, with the Lions again.
And that's if they stay healthy, as is.
Healthy is a big thing.
A few injuries.
Yeah. Lucky me.
One of those teams.
Yeah. Lucky me, I had Jared Goff on the bench. He had 5 touchdowns, man. That made my night really awesome for me too. So, but no one saw that coming with the way they just kicked the Bears' ass all up and down the field, man. They were ready for that. I'm going to talk briefly about the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel, and he was hired in 2022, right? And Stephen Ross, the owner, he said he's going to be patient. I don't know if this is good, or I don't know if it's a vote of confidence, but they went 9-8 the first year. Which snapped a 5-year playoff drought. Then the next year, they were 11-6, the Dolphins. That year, they led the NFL in total offense. They ended up losing in the wild card round to the eventual Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs. But, obviously Mike McDaniel still hasn't had a playoff win. But they took a step back in 2024. Obviously, they had all those high expectations. Tua got hurt. They lost all the games. He missed 6 games. They lost all the games that he didn't play. And obviously they've lost. They're like 1-13 in the last 14 games, and now with this loss as well. But they did play the Bills, obviously divisionally pretty well. But it comes back to, I think, the quarterback. I think your quarterback is the challenge, and we talked about it a little earlier because are they looking for a reclamation project? With Zach Wilson, or is Quinn Ewers the guy? I mean. That's going to be your situation right now. If you're having a hard look right now at Tua, and maybe that's the best that they have, but you don't necessarily want to give it to a rookie, because then you're taking another step back. But who that quarterback is, they're a central problem, I would say, for the Dolphins.
Well, I'd have to look at that again. Really, really study that play tonight. That last interception, and really. We don't know what play was called.
True.
But as a fan, that looked completely on Tua's shoulders.
It appears that either he ran the wrong route or just threw it out there. And
right.
Obviously the Bills, they're a top team too. But they had a great great game plan.
As far as coaching, the game.
Yeah,
the game was well coached for
100%.
It was there for the taking.
Yeah,
they were right down there, ready to score again. If they would have got a touchdown, we could have had a whole different conversation tonight about the Dolphins.
Yeah,
that one play.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's something. It's a locker room issue. It seems like with the Dolphins, in my opinion, the mojo is just not right. And they're going to have to do something to break up that team, right? I don't know if it's Tyreek Hill. I don't know if it's Tua. I don't know if it's the coach. But it just seems like the mojo is just off with that team. Andre touched on this earlier about the talent that team have. When you look at Tyreek and Devon Achane, Jayden Waddle, and solid offensive line, right? It just seems like the mojo is just completely off on that team. So to me, either you keep Mike McDaniels and you blow up the roster, or you fire Mike McDaniel to see if there's another coach to come in and can work with the talent that's there. But something is off in that locker room, in my opinion. They shouldn't be this bad. They shouldn't be 0-3.
No, and tonight I thought, I watched all of it up until we had to get on the show, and I thought the game plan was excellent. I thought they played hard. I thought they, the whole thing was I was okay with. Even that last drive was fantastic. Then you have a brain fart, whether it's a wide receiver running the wrong route or Tua just having a brain fart and throwing the wrong pass, or even just the wrong play at the time. It could have been called. I don't know, but up until then, I was looking for that too. I was looking to see if that team was going to quit. They didn't quit.
Yeah, that's what you're worried about
tonight. That's the one thing that I look at with a team that's losing. Are these guys still wanting to punch somebody in the face and fight?
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what a football game is. It's a fight.
Yeah.
And they fought tonight.
Yeah.
They had that one mistake. It's really cost them.
They got too much talent though to be this bad. It feels like so. It's a game of inches, as they say, and it's you talk about the X's and O's and Jimmy and Joe's, and you got the Jimmy and Joe's in this instance. So right now there's probably a chemistry issue, like he talked about. I don't know what's going on with Tyreek Hill. He wishes he can go back and play with the Chiefs or an offense that will literally exploit his speed. The Dolphins gave up a lot. Rob McDaniels is signed through 2028, if I'm not mistaken. So again, if you're Stephen Ross, you gave up a lot to get the dude. Because I'm thinking he's going to be the guy. So,
well, Tyreek Hill is that guy to me. With his off the field stuff, and he's got some more stuff coming up. To me, it seems like he's about the payday. He's about his own stuff. He doesn't really, to me. I don't know him personally. I could be completely wrong, but to me, I get this impression that he is. It's all about me guy.
Yeah,
and not about the team guy. And if you have a guy that with that much talent, that's a me guy. That's an issue. That's a problem.
It worked in Kansas City though. That's the crazy part. So I don't know what happened between there and Kansas City. So it couldn't have been.
Well, we all questioned why Kansas City got rid of him, right? So did they see something there that thought it was going to be a problem in the future too? And
that's true.
So that's something to think about as well, because he was a big time. He and Patrick Mahomes was a big time weapon, right? And Kansas City got rid of him, and we all scratching our head, man. Why would you get rid of one of Patrick Mahomes' best weapons? So obviously, you must have thought something from a chemistry standpoint to let him go to Miami.
Well, just your classroom time, comments, or, on the field, not going full out in practice, whatever it is that was going on in Kansas City, Andy Reid, he's got his thumb on that whole thing. He knows.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking. Well, there's got to be something wrong with this guy.
That's a good point, Gary. Good point, Gary. Yeah. Yeah.
If he's getting rid of a talent like that, he knows that there's some cancer. Well, guess what? Maybe that's part of the cancer there too. True. He played a good game tonight. He had a great timing catch. Yeah. In the back of the end zone with Tua. That was a great play.
Yeah.
Watching that, but that was a me play.
Same thing like Antonio Brown, right? He was a great wide receiver for the Steelers, and he just was a head case too. And even when he went to Tampa Bay, you have Tom Brady, and you're like, man, just shape up for Tom Brady. That dude still has some challenges. So sometimes you just have guys that are head cases, if you will, too. So just it's messed up all that talent, if you will. I don't know. That's a good call on all. Let's get to these college football predictions and wrap up here. Let's kind of kick it off here. We got number 17 Texas Tech at number 16 Utah. What say you on this one, Rob?
Hey, this game has major Big 12 implications, right? Texas Tech's got a heck of an offense. I like the physicalities of this Utah team, man. Spencer Fanu, it's going to be a top 10 pick at offensive tackle. Matter of fact, Utah, both of their starting offensive tackles probably going to be first-round picks in the draft. So I like the physicality of this team. Kyle Whittingham, I think, is one of the better coaches, underrated coaches in college football. I'm going with the Utes in this one. And this Utes team got a chance to make the playoffs and win the Big 12 this year.
Nice.
That's exactly who I was picking. I was picking Utah in this for really the same exact reasons, Rob.
There it is. Next game, got number 22, Auburn at number 11, Oklahoma. We talked about Matier, the quarterback. This is a good game. So what say you? And then we talk about Oklahoma. They need to pump the brakes and where they are. But this is a good test, if you will.
Yeah. And, a lot of intriguing things to talk about with this matchup, right? Jackson Arnold, the starting quarterback at Auburn, was a transfer from Oklahoma. He was a 5-star recruit out of high school. Didn't quite cut it at Oklahoma, so he transferred to Auburn. Oklahoma went out and got John Matier from Washington State. And both of them are playing well, actually. Jackson Arnold was playing well at Auburn under Hugh Freeze, a lot better than he did at Oklahoma. John Matier is playing well at Oklahoma. Auburn's got one of the best defensive players in the country in Keldrick Falk. Probably going to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. He can rush the passer. He can stop the run. This Auburn team is definitely better. Both of these teams are better than we probably thought they were going into the season. I'm going with Oklahoma at home. I just like the way John Matier is playing. And Brent Venables probably first time since he's been the head coach at Oklahoma, he's got a Brent Venables defense. And he got a really good defensive line this year at Oklahoma as well. I think it's going to be a heck of a game, though. I'm talking 24-20, close game. But I like Oklahoma to win this one in the SEC slugfest.
Yep.
I'm going with Auburn in this one.
Nice. Okay, Gary.
Yeah, I just think they're going to go in there and it's going to be a slugfest, I believe.
Yep.
You're right. Both quarterbacks have something to prove. They want to keep it going. I just think Auburn's going to come out with a win on the road.
Nice. Number 21, Michigan. CJ Carr again at is it Dominic Raiola at Nebraska? This is a good matchup too for quarterbacks.
CJ Carr is at Notre Dame, so Michigan has what's the quarterback in Michigan? Help me out. You said CJ Carr.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to. The young guy.
Underwood.
He's Underwood.
Underwood.
That's with me. I apologize. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I went there. I'm thinking of two different guys. Yeah, Underwood is great.
These are probably two of the better. This is an intriguing matchup too, right?
I apologize. Yeah. Go ahead.
Excuse me. This is a very intriguing matchup as well. Two young quarterbacks, Dylan Raiola, who's a Patrick Mahomes wannabe. I mean, all his mannerisms is like Patrick Mahomes. Where's Patrick Mahomes' number? Where's his hairstyle like Patrick Mahomes? He's a true Patrick Mahomes wannabe, but he's having a good year as a sophomore quarterback in Nebraska, right? He's having a really good year. Bryce Underwood, true freshman in Michigan. So from a young quarterback perspective, this is going to be an intriguing game to watch. I'm going with Nebraska at home. Bryce Underwood is a true freshman. He struggled at Oklahoma. I think he'll be a little bit better in this game than he was on the road against Oklahoma. But I think Nebraska wins a nail biter here, 20-17, Nebraska.
Yeah,
in a mild upset.
I didn't even have a team in this one. I wasn't sure about this one. It was kind of a pick'em game for me.
Yeah.
So at the last minute, I took Nebraska because it was a home game.
And that's probably a good pick. That's a good pick too, Gary, because I liked and I was thinking of CJ Carr for some reason. I don't know why I was pulling back Lloyd Carr for some reason in my head, but yes, Underwood, I like his play. If JQ was on the call, he would pick Nebraska all day to the moon and back. But just because, I think because he's young, I think that is you'll give the nod to Nebraska, but I think it's going to be a close game, only because he is a true freshman. He's playing well, but he did struggle versus Oklahoma. And I don't know if Michigan does enough to run the ball to stop Nebraska's. That's a tough environment. So that's the only reason why you give the nod. But I do like Underwood in his play. He's been playing really, really well too for a true freshman.
Yeah, he played well last week against who did he play? Central Michigan.
Central Michigan. Yeah, Central Michigan.
Yeah, Underwood had a heck of a game this past weekend. I know it was a lower level competition.
Oh yeah,
but he had a phenomenal game throwing the football, phenomenal game running the football. But another factor in this game, you got to remember, Michigan's head coach is suspended, right? And they were able to beat Central Michigan, but this is a step up in competition to not have your head coach in this game, I think that's going to play a huge factor in this game as well.
Yeah, I agree. Let's wrap it up. Number 9, Illinois at number 19, Indiana.
This might be one of the better games in college football. You know, Illinois is a team that could possibly make the playoffs. They got one of the better offensive lines in the country. Luke Altmaier, quarterback position. They got an experienced team. Brett Bielema, one of the better coaches in college football. But also Indiana's got one of the better quarterbacks in college football, Fernando Mendoza. All 4 of these games, I'm going with the home team here. I'm going to go with Indiana with a slight upset here. 24-21. I think this might be one of the better games of the day in college football. And to me, all 4 of these games are going to be really good games to watch. So I don't know what time. Well, I know the Texas Tech Utah game is 9 a.m. here on the West Coast. So it'll be 12 p.m., 12 noon for you guys. From a timing perspective, I'm hoping I'll have the opportunity to lay eyes on all 4 of these games.
Yeah.
The 2 games that I had highlighted that I wanted to watch were the Texas Tech Utah game and the Illinois Indiana game. And I think the home team's going to win on both of those games. Yeah.
Let's get through this really quickly. I know, Rob, there's a quick SEC conference game. They're switching from an 8 to a 9 game conference thing. I don't know if you want to dive into that really quickly because it's talking about some rotating opponents and, some no more divisions here, interconference play. So it's a lot of interesting things as far as that increased competition, if you will.
Yeah, and you're seeing more and more major conference going on a 9-game conference schedule. And the SEC is joining that party next year. And, normally you wouldn't want to play that additional conference game because it could affect your chances of playing for a national championship. But now with 12 teams in college football playoffs, and more than likely in a couple of years, we're going to be at 16 teams in the college football playoffs. So more and more teams conferences are okay with this now because you still could probably get 3 or 4 teams from your conference to make the playoffs, especially a conference like the SEC. So they're going to go to a 9 conference game schedule. They're going to have 3 opponents that they play every year, each team. So more likely the rivals like Tennessee will play Alabama. LSU will probably play Alabama and Florida. Auburn will probably play Alabama. Georgia and Auburn will probably play against each other. Those constant rivals. Texas A&M and Texas, of course. Texas and Oklahoma. So each team will have 3 opponents that they play every year, and the other 6 will rotate on a year-to-year basis. So these teams only have 3 non-conference games starting on next year.
Yes, that's good for the league. I think it's great for the league, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Any comment on that, Gary? What you think about that?
No, I just think you're going to have 4 or 5 teams every year from the Southeastern Conference.
But you have
the best teams.
Yeah, but you got to earn it. You got to earn it though. That's the good thing. At least
when you're out west, you hear lots of comments about, we should have more teams from other conferences, whatever. But I'm like, they're not as good.
Yeah. You got to prove it.
So why not have the best teams in this format with this amount of teams? That's going to be a regular thing.
Yeah,
Rob,
and give the Big Ten credit. Hey, Big Ten has stepped up the last few years too. So I mean, for 10, 15 years, it was all the SEC, and and Clemson snuck in there every now and again. But Michigan and Ohio State's won the last 2 championships out of the Big Ten. So the Big Ten is a conference that's right there with the SEC now.
Let's go. So speaking of that, I know you mentioned earlier, Rob, some disappointments here, and you mentioned Florida, and we're going to talk about what's wrong with DJ Lagway. Obviously played LSU. Napier is probably some challenges with him. Gary, I think there's probably some challenges with Clemson. If you're hearing behind the scenes, but what would you say are some disappointments so far in college football?
Am I going?
Rob?
Or
Where do you want to go?
Yeah, you mentioned in Florida and DJ Lagway, right? And obviously DJ Lagway was hurt during spring practice, and you can see the rust. Obviously I can't remember how many. It seemed like he threw about 10 interceptions against LSU this past weekend.
Like 4.
I think he threw 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken. He struggled against South Florida. And look, last year he ran all over LSU, and but this year they contained him in the pocket, and they put a lot of pressure on him, forced him into a lot of bad throws. Obviously, LSU's defense is a lot better, but he also struggled against South Florida. Clemson, to me, also, right?
Yeah.
Would have thought they would be 1-2 at this point in the season. Kate Klubnik was, we talked about quarterbacks. I didn't even have him in the top 7. And when we talked about, he's another guy that's been a disappointment, as well as the overall Clemson team so far this season. And even his decision making has been off, right? I saw that in person when the first game of the season when I was at the LSU Clemson game, right? You could see the difference between Garrett and Cade. And even the fans that was sitting around there were saying the same thing, just, decision making, knowing where to go with the football. And then, of course, Arch Manning has been a disappointment, right?
Yeah.
Huge disappointment. Arch Manning's best performance this year has been in the Warby Parker commercials, right? And they're already asking for a refund, right?
No.
And that's been his best performance so far this season. I mean, he's been a clear disappointment
That was
so far.
Shaker-esque there.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 straight incompletions. I mean, it's hard to believe, how poorly he's been playing. And to a lesser, I know, I'm going to say Notre Dame, 0-2, right? Their defense has been a huge disappointment. This is very shocking of a Marcus Freeman kind of team, right? To give up 41 points. Now, look, Texas A&M, Marcel Reed is an underrated quarterback, man. He's no joke. But if you're Notre Dame and they're supposed to have one of the top defenses in the country, I mean, you got to contain him to at least the 20s. You can't give up 41 points. So the Notre Dame defense has been a disappointment in my book too. So those are some of my disappointments.
Well, you did mention Clemson, which warmed my heart. And if I'm watching a football game and I see that Clemson loses, before I go to the next game, I'm gonna watch Debo in his press conference because I love watching his meltdowns.
He and Brian Kelly with their press conferences, man, they got to grow up. And I'm an LSU fan, so I'm a root for Brian Kelly, but I don't like his rants.
Oh man, I love hearing Sweeney just.
I will say this: if you're Clemson, you do have to be careful because he has done a lot for that program, and sometimes, like I said, you just need somebody to act like they love you, right? That you still appreciate me, and he did say he's only 55. He can go and coach somewhere, and I'm very curious to see what happens with LSU. I'm sorry, with Florida. So Napier's on a short lease. So if something happens,
he's done. Napier's done.
I can see Sweeney going to Florida, and he's not that dude's. He can recruit, especially in Florida. He doesn't really use the transfer portal a lot. So Sweeney's a good coach, man. So keep that in mind if you're Clemson. Obviously you better watch. Do you want?
He's not going anywhere.
We'll see.
Came out and say his job is safe. Dabo is not going anywhere. He's going to be right there, Clemson. Mm-hmm.
I don't see him going anywhere. They're not going to get a better coach.
They're not going to get a better coach either. I'm just saying, just keep on pissing him off. I'm just saying that he'd be like, I can go coach them. Hey, pump your brakes.
Yeah.
Pump your brakes. Right. But
I don't like his antics either. But he's not going anywhere for sure.
Well, if Clemson is stupid, they better not.
But the fans. Sunbelt Billy is done in Florida. It might be mid-season. It might be the end of the season. But he's done. They're going to lose to Miami this week, so there's going to be another loss for Florida.
Might be this afternoon.
Their schedule is as tough as anybody. It's tough as college football schedule I've seen in a long time with Florida. Sunbelt Billy is not going to be able to get it done.
100%. I do want to. I don't want to take. We'll probably wrap this up here. We've been going a little longer here. I don't know if you want to get through all these topics, but Clayton Kershaw from the Dolphins. Talk about an amazing player. He is retiring at the end of this season. So go ahead and talk about that, guys. I don't know if you can start. Do you want to start, Gary or Rob, about this and just
go ahead, Rob.
For his phenomenal career, right? The James Harden of Major League Baseball, right? Phenomenal regular season pitcher, struggled in the playoffs, but he did at least win a championship. James Harden hadn't done that. One of the best pitchers in our time for sure, particularly in the regular season. So obviously the Dodgers are going to do all they can to honor him, and well-deserved. He's a Hall of Famer for sure. No doubt about it. And even though he's lost some of his stuff, he still outsmart batters. Still knows what to do and get batters out and things of that nature. So he's very cerebral pitcher as well. So it'll be interesting to see the Dodgers on the surface. They're just as talented as they were last year, but they're not playing as well as they were last season. Obviously, they're still going to be a playoff team and can always get hot at the right time here. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of impact he has on the playoffs this year as we're wrapping up the last couple of weeks of the Major League Baseball season. And they're 2.5 games ahead of the Padres, so they're still in the division race. But 7-3 in the last 10 games. So I still expect
I do give him a couple of notches above Harden. Okay.
Well, he won a title. Harden hadn't done that.
Right.
He's got 3.
But Father Time.
He's got 3 Cy Youngs, though, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Somewhere,
yeah.
I mean, he was a dominant pitcher, man, especially in the regular season. He just, for some reason, didn't perform well in the playoffs. Yeah. But heck, I mean, I'm a Yankees fan. Aaron Judge hadn't performed well in the playoffs either.
Yeah. Why'd you? I was feeling really good about tonight. And then you have to mention that, Rob. I got a little sickness in my stomach now.
Oh man, Yankees won 7-0 tonight.
I know, that's nice.
Scored a touchdown and didn't let the other team score at all.
There it is. Let's wrap this up, Rob. It's been another great time. Let's wrap this up, if you will.
Yeah, it's been another great show. I know we missed our boy JQ. I know I did a little promo on my clip this morning promoting the show and mentioned JQ's name, but it's all good. Hopefully we'll be back on next week. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back at you on next week, looking at Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday night. So make sure you follow us here, Talking Sports with the 12th Man, our Facebook page, as well as our YouTube channel as well. Of course, we're going to be talking more football, college, and NFL, NHL, preseason starting, believe it or not. And believe it or not, NBA training camps are starting in 2 weeks. It's unbelievable. We got Major League Baseball playoffs starting in a couple of weeks as well. So this is that time of the year when kind of like all those sports kind of come together. So this is a great time of the year from a sports perspective. So we're going to have a lot for you. So we want to hear from y'all from Philadelphia, Boston, New York, down in Miami, New Orleans, Chicago, Albuquerque, Fresno, all across the country, and even around the globe. We want to hear from y'all. Tune into the show, and let's have a great weekend, everyone. Good night.
Chargers, as they say. And I think the NBA is going to be on. I don't know if I noticed that correctly. It's something I saw like a promo on the 24th. So keep an eye on that too if they keep that situation on Amazon Prime. So
and these NBC's carrying the NBA this year. Amazon, ESPN, of course. No TNT this year, so it's gonna be really interesting. Hey, I'm going to Australia in a couple of weeks to see my Pelicans play in Australia against Melbourne. So gonna go check that out in a couple of weeks. So I'm excited about the NBA season here too.
Let's go! Exciting.
I'm going to Phuket, Thailand here in a couple of weeks, and there'll be no NBA action there.
You're going really, Gary? Where are you going?
Phuket, Thailand.
You're going to get some pictures because that's on our bucket list to go to Thailand and also Southeast Asia.
It's on my bucket list too. I almost went in 2019, but didn't quite work out. But Thailand is on my bucket list too. Never been.
Yeah. Thailand, Vietnam.
I think that's about 3 weeks out.
Gary, you gotta let me know if you're gonna get in the cage with the tigers or not. Take a picture with the tiger.
Well, I've swum with the sharks. There's no reason why I can't do that too.
There it is.
Okay, all right.
We're here first.
Big and bad Gary. Y'all heard it here.
Let's go. Let's go. Good night,
Peace
people.
out, gentlemen.
Next week.
Good night.